So here with Andrew with ARC Printing, he does printing all kinds, right? Like paper, signs, promo stuff, promotional items, and all that stuff. Why don't you tell me a little bit about what you do?
So, ARC Print and Promos is the company name, and I've grown up in the business. My family, my dad started a business back in the '80s. He's been in the printing business his whole life, or my whole life, I should say. And so I kind of grew up in it, and I learned it from a very young age. It wasn't something that I ever thought I would get into, because you don't want to get into whatever your parents are involved in. You want to do something else. But I ended up finding my way there. I actually wanted to be a sports broadcaster. Very few people know that. I went to UCLA. I thought I'd be the next basketball play-by-play guy. And
Okay. So basketball would be what you would do.
I loved it, and I was a huge Chick Hearn fan. Chick Hearn was the broadcaster for the Lakers back in my Southern California days. And so I got to broadcast UCLA games, which was cool, just radio. But decided after I graduated it wasn't for me. So I went into sales, dabbled in a couple different sales jobs, and then found my way back to my parents' printing company. And so I did that for about 5 years. Now, the way it's structured is a little bit different. A lot of people don't even know that a business like mine exists necessarily. They think, all right, I need something printed. I'm either going to go online, okay, which is, you got the Vistas of the world, which is fine. A lot of people do that. Or I'm going to go down the street or across the street or whatever to some brick and mortar print shop. Okay. Well, there's a whole group of people like myself that don't have a brick and mortar print shop. We don't have equipment. We work out of a home office or just a small office space. And there's a whole load of people like me throughout the country, throughout the world, really, that they are the customer service / sales people, out there. Back in the day, a print company, this is 80s, 70s, 80s, a big print company would have salespeople. My dad used to manage salespeople for print companies. And they would go out and they would sell printing for their specific plant. So they would have, a couple machines, and they would sell the types of printing that can actually be processed on those machines. Well, that's limiting. Because if you need a banner, a vinyl banner, that doesn't go on the same machine that letterhead goes on, or envelopes or whatever. So a brick and mortar shop can't have 1,000 different machines or 100 different machines. It's just not viable. Equipment is very, very expensive. So we are considered a broker. So we're kind of the middleman, where I have long time established relationships with the highest quality vendors in Colorado and throughout the country. So for example, if a company needs a pocket folder, I don't shop that around. I have my pocket folder shop. It's all they do. They do it all day, every day. They need labels. I've got my label shop. They do it all day, every day. They are the best at what they do. They specialize in it. So that allows ARC Print and Promos to do a lot of different things. So a client wants to work with someone, a company like ours, because they trust me. They trust me as an individual, but also they don't want to work with 5 different vendors.
Right.
They don't want to work with the banner guy and the guy that does the pens and the guy, because you're going to have a whole different experience with each individual person. One may be flaky, one may be very on top of it, one maybe not, whatever the case may be. So with me, I'm kind of like the funnel, where people can come to me with whatever their need is, and they say, Andrew, do you do this? And I rarely have to say no, because I have a vendor specifically for that. And so that allows me, like I said, to do both printing, So anything on paper, as you were mentioning, signage, that sort of thing, but also promotional items. So t-shirts, mugs, pop sockets, pens, whatever the new thing is. I have vendors for those as well. So I think that my clients appreciate the fact that they only have to work with one person. And especially if they get a new project where it keeps them from having to do the research.
Yeah.
Because otherwise they would have to go find it. Well, they just call me, they know I can do it, and it just makes it easy on them. So that's how we function. There, like I said, there's plenty of us out there. Not as well, especially in California. Not as many here in Colorado, believe it or not. There's not as many people that do what I do here in Colorado. There are some, but not as many. California, there's a ton. New York, there's a ton, and different places. But Colorado, thankfully for me, there's not quite as many.
Yeah. And so just again, you can work with anybody in the country, right?
Yeah, I have customers all over the country. Most of them are here in Colorado, but certainly I do have some that, especially some that have worked in Colorado and moved away. I have a few of those that have stuck with me. But yeah, one of my bigger clients is out of New York.
Okay.
So yeah.
That's good to know because our YouTube audience is nationwide, obviously. So
Oh yeah.
just want to make sure that if they wanted to, their business is starting to get back on track, and they wanted to explore some of the things that you're offering, then you'd be able to help them.
Sure, absolutely, not a problem. I am looking for a good accountant if you know one.
Oh, come on.
Just kidding.
Yeah. So since all this started, COVID, what's that been like for you? How's that affected you and your clients?
Well, I do work with quite a few restaurants. We were talking about this earlier. And of course, if the economy affects my clients, then it's naturally going to affect me. It's just that kind of trickle down effect. So obviously with the restaurants closing down, many of them, and not printing as many menus or things of that nature, that I took a hit like everybody else. And I talked to, I have contacts all throughout the printing world. And so everybody had this issue. We've had printing companies go out of business during this time, just like any other business. So thankfully for me, I have a wide enough group of clients that if one industry is hit, some of the other industries that I work with will still kind of keep me going, and it doesn't affect me quite as much. But it did affect me, over the past few months. But with restaurants specifically, I found that most of what they were printing during the past few months has all been external stuff. So if they're going to print a menu, it's all to-go menus. Okay. If they're going to print a banner, it's, hey, we're open, come visit us, type of banners, things of that nature. But for the most part, the internal stuff haven't done much at all with that sort of thing. They're not investing in that right now. I don't have the percentages, but I can only assume for restaurants what percentage of their business right now is to go versus eating in. And I would think that it's very much lopsided in the to-go world than it is the eating in world over the past few months. So naturally that led us to do some different things for them. But yeah, I would say that area has affected me the most is my restaurant work. But like I said, it's affected every industry that I work with. The marketing budget, in my experience, is always the first one that's cut. Mm-hmm. So when things are going well, people are going to spend a ton of money on marketing because you're growing and you want to grow. You want to get to that next level of growth. And so you're going to put a lot more money into it. But when you're cutting back, are you going to fire so-and-so, or are you going to cut back on the marketing? Well, there's going to be a mix, of letting people go. but certainly marketing takes a huge hit when people are deciding how to spend their money. So yeah, I've taken a hit like everybody else. Thankfully, it's starting to pick up. I'm seeing signs, but it's much more of a roller coaster right now.
Yeah,
So
for sure. Do you foresee any kind of like permanent changes because of this
permanent changes?
in your industry or in your work?
Yeah, it's a tough one. I think that we've already, in our industry, a lot of people don't know, but there's been a paper shortage, paper issues for the past couple of years. And it has to do with our work with China and this and that, because it's really not as much of a political thing. It's just where are we going to get all of our paper from? There's a lot that goes into it. But new printing shops can't even get a paper rep to supply them.
Oh, really?
The idea of opening up a new printing plant is just not going to happen.
Okay? Yeah.
Because printing paper reps aren't taking on new print shops. Okay. So so many things impact the printing world. That causes some issues. The other thing that impacts me, now I don't know how much this will be in the future, but you and I were just talking right before here. I had an order that was supposed to ship out tomorrow. It's going to be delayed by a week, they're saying, because they've had to cut down on their staff.
Yeah.
Because of COVID or social distancing. This plant specifically has had some of the protests and whatever have impacted what they're doing too. So there's a lot of stuff going on here that is impacting the work of my vendors.
Yeah.
So that has been a very frustrating thing for myself and my clients, because in the end, it's out of my control. But they're looking at me like, what the heck is going on? It's like, have you looked out into the world lately? So there's a lot of things that are out of our control. So there are fires that you got to put out on a daily basis. More so now, and I'm not talking riot fires.
Yeah.
I'm talking about figurative fires that I have to face more so now than I do when things are going really, really well, where everything's just a well-oiled machine. But I think it's anyone's guess as to what the industry is going to look like after, a vaccine or whatever happens, to where we can get things, quote unquote, back to normal. Anyone's guess is as good as mine. I don't have any insight into that. I'll call Fauci up and see what he says.
Yeah.
I know he stays up on the print world a lot for me, so.
Probably does.
Yeah. He does. Yeah. Good friend of mine. Tony, I call him Tony.
Tony, yeah. For sure. So for these businesses that have ramped down their marketing, I understand that there might be some bias here, but like, do you think that, keeping up in some way with their marketing budget could actually help them in terms of like, marketing over online or marketing over print? Or what would you suggest to let's say restaurants?
Yeah. I think that with them specifically, it's a roller coaster right now. You're open, now you're closed, now you're open, now you're closed. So I would hesitate to put a lot of money in one thing or another if I was a restaurant owner.
Yeah.
Because it's so up and down. It's a roller coaster. But I think there's on the horizon, there's some positivity, but I wouldn't be able to guide somebody in saying, hey, invest more here as opposed to there right now if I were a restaurant. Now,
right.
I do believe that the certain industries like the home buying right now, I mean, there's some industries that are doing quite well.
Yeah.
So I work with plenty in real estate, commercial and residential. And And so they're still doing stuff, but even some of them have taken a step back. It's like right now would be a perfect time to ramp up what you're doing, not hold back.
Right.
So it really varies from industry to industry. I am a firm believer that your marketing dollars should be a percentage of whatever you bring in. Okay. So if you're getting cut, if not as much business is coming in, then yeah, the amount of dollars will go down, but your percentage, you should try to keep that the same.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And you can't give up on marketing because you're going to lose customers right now. Okay. I've lost some customers that went out of business. All right. Now is not the time for me to just sit back and wait.
Yeah.
You have to do some things. You have, whether that be marketing or whatever. I think it's marketing. So really now's the time to where you really got to focus on what's going to take you to the next level when everything comes back. I had a good first few months this year, so it's allowed me a little bit of freedom to consider my future. What am I going to do? Okay. It's slower right now, but I have a bit of a nest egg to play with, and not huge, but enough to where I can say, all right, do I want to market in this way? So I'm in the middle of analyzing like 3 different options that I want to take on that could really, in many ways, change the way my business is structured. It won't change the way my customers or clients, they won't notice anything, but from a background place, it will change a lot of the ways that I structure my business. So we'll see how it goes. It's anyone's guess. But like I said, I think it varies from industry to industry. I would talk to you, for example. Now's the time to spend a lot of money with ARC, Ryan.
Oh, I'm sure it is. Yeah.
So, just look into it.
Yeah. I do have to update my business cards, actually.
Damn, that'll pay my next mortgage.
Yeah. Hell yeah. That's what I'm
Love
talking
it.
about. 50 business cards.
Ooh, you upped it this time.
So tell me a little bit about the new website you got going on.
Yeah. The new website, it's a couple months old, and I've been dabbling, so many people buy printing these days on the web directly. So the Vistaprints of the world. You go there, you need 500 business cards, you upload your artwork, bada bing, bada boom, they ship them out to you, and it's pretty cheap. So my website, since I do printing and promotional items, I have a landing page that will allow you to go in one of 3 directions. One direction would be, I don't know what I want, I need help, contact us directly, okay? Which will basically send us an email and we'll reach out to you. Then there's another choice. The other choice is, I need some promotional items, okay? And I want to search through the thousands of potential items out there. And so I have an aspect of my website that'll allow you to search through basically every promotional item that we offer. It can be overwhelming. I mean, you've been to the site, there are just a ton of potential products, okay? And so what I try to recommend to my clients is, listen, I don't expect you to go spend 2 hours searching through products. What are you looking for? What's your purpose? What's your goal? What's your budget? I ask all these questions. And then I say, let me put some ideas together that I know will work, because I've done it many, many times. And I will send you a presentation of sorts where you can look through a variety of options. So that's what I recommend on the promotional side. But too many people buy promotional products and they check a box saying, I bought my promotional products. And you've been to a trade show before, right? You put a ton of crap in your bag, and how much of it do you keep?
Like literally almost none of it.
Almost none of it. And but the goal is for you to spend your money, use your budget and maximize it. So to buy products that people aren't going to throw away. That's the goal. Okay. That people will keep. And so that's my purpose there. So if they want to go to that part of the website, they can search through a bunch of products. Then the newest part, which is what I'm most excited about, is now I can function very much like Vistaprint in that if someone has artwork, they just need business cards, letterheads, certain signs, this or that, they can do everything online that they could do on any other online, shop, any online vendor. So there's just a ton of products to choose from. Most of my clients, my established clients, still just go through me, which is fine. I like that. But this is mostly for the people that discover my website on their own, and they just need something quick and easy. They don't necessarily have to deal with a person. They could just handle it all on their own. It's very new, so it's kind of getting rolling, and most of it is just marketing the website. I mean, that's going to be the whole key for me, is to get the word out. So we'll see how that goes, but I'm excited about it. It would be a great thing if that could blow up, because there's not much that I have to do to maintain that site. It functions on its own.
That's great.
We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll definitely have a link to that website in the description below, just so people know, or maybe they can check it out if they want to.
That would be fantastic. Yeah, I'm excited about it, and it's nationwide, so anybody can check it out.
Cool. All right, man. I think that's all we got for today. Thanks for your time. I appreciate it.
Of course. Anything for you, dude. I will say, let me give a little plug for Ryan Wynn. I've had accountants before, and they certainly hadn't given me the type of service that Ryan has with helping me save money on my taxes and restructure my business in a way. That has been a huge, huge help. You know how much money you saved me in taxes. It's been unbelievable. I mean, I didn't even know it existed, and it kind of makes me angry that my other accountant never brought it up. It's not like you're breaking rules.
No,
it's just there. Someone should tell me these things.
Yeah.
And you did. And so I will forever be grateful.
Well, I appreciate that.
Of course.
And I appreciate having you as a client.
Yes. Well, for at least a couple months.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you about that later. No,
Okay.
forever.
Yeah.
All right, buddy. Thanks for having me.